Hey y'all, it's the Rambler here. Just wanted to get back on the soapbox for a while. I haven't talked to you guys in a while, but this is basically, I'm gonna give a quick rundown on my experiences dating as a Butterface and how I not necessarily date better. Right now I'm single, but more so navigate the arena and not take it personally when I receive the comments I receive. So, like I said, I'm a plain Jane black woman, but it's one thing I was known for, even growing up as a kid. It was my shape of my body. People would say it's my ass that's attractive, not my face. They would constantly call me ugly, but then, I was a victim of a lot of sexual assault. I don't mind talking about it here because I'm over it. You know, I was a victim of a lot of sexual assault not due to my body type, due to being around sexually assaulting men. But basically, I was the walking, it's your ass, not your face. And as I've gotten older into the dating arena, things haven't changed. The only difference is the middle school boys won't tell you to your face. Instead, they call you beautiful, attempt to bang you, and then dump you. Like like you're trash. If they manage to succeed to bang you. My life experience has led me to be more cynical around these people, as I should, you know, because they're very exploitative of women they don't find attractive. People are exploitated. I find men are exploitative of women in general, but especially when they don't find you cute. It's like they really think you have no humanity. You have less humanity than a pretty girl. The pretty girl, she has some privilege, but she may have more humanity than you, but she still doesn't have it because the expectation is for women to be pretty. I'm saying this as a woman who failed at the expectation that it's okay. So I am a Butterface. No, I'm not showing my face on here for privacy purposes. But one thing I learned, one lesson that should be taken as you navigate the dating world is that it's not personal. It's never personal and never will be personal. All people can tell you is what they think about you and what they think you rank and they think your value is. Now, if you agree, then it becomes your problem. But if you disagree, there is no problem at all. And as a Butterface, as a woman who's been average looking, first thing I want to say, as well is that if you think, just by dating men, quote unquote, in your league, or dating uglier men would solve this, it does not. I'm saying this as someone who has experienced this. Believe me, it doesn't. It never does. Like some people have this idea that you're gunning out of your league and that's why you have these problems. But the truth is when someone has it mentally in their mind that they are better than you, and it could be for whatever dumb reason. Like I've been to predominantly white institutions and I've hung around people who had who even in the black community who had like longer hair, less unique less unique names, people who had lighter skin, people who had looser curls, even people who had thinner noses than me, even if they were dark skinned, if they had thinner noses and fit the more slim model, less physique, they thought they were better than me. And the truth is, you cannot convince people who think they are better than you that you are worth dating, and that's one of the lessons I've learned in addition to not taking it personally when someone judges you that way. From my dating roster, like people would be surprised about like the men in my past who did take me seriously, you know, as a partner, and then compared to the ones who thought I was like a pump and dump, even though they didn't pump and dump me, like it was their thoughts. Some of them exposed their thoughts a little early than others, and if you saw their photos side by side, you would not, it would be hard for you to tell, like your assumptions would be wrong on who considered me worthless and who considered me worthy. You know, do not be fooled by the appearances. I dated a man that was considered more attractive than me. I'll just give a quick story time. And he was considered out of my league. He had long, luscious hair. You know, like the girls fawned over him. Like he was so attractive that men and women alike were all over him. Like men were in his DMs. Like it was no joke. And one thing that I noticed with him, like people used to stop me in the street, like trying to break me and him and I up, thinking that I was not deserving. And that was the best interaction I ever had with a man in my life. He taught me so much. Now he wasn't perfect, don't get me wrong, there's a reason why we're not together anymore. But if you looked at him and then looked at me, you would never think that this would be the one who would have taken me seriously, but he was. And now fast forward to me dating in everyday life, and the men I have interacted with who have sent me disturbing messages telling me I'm not cutie enough to be their girlfriend, or I'm not cute enough to bring home. And if I were to show you their profile photos, you know, you would be surprised as well. Okay, like you would actually be shocked at the judgment. And that's when I learned not to take it personally. The word people have of you is their opinion, first of all. And two, it's very subjective. You know, people come in this world with their biases out here. If he does not like brunettes, you could be Megan Fox and he would mistreat you. Okay? If I should say Dave, I'm talking to heterosexual cisgender women right now. But like if he does not like dark skin, you could be a Nokia, Tiga Sumter, Ashley Blaine, Featherson. You could look like all these women. You could even look for the plus size. You could look like Philomena Quao and Wunmi Mosaku. Beautiful women. And he still won't value you because the point is they have their biases. Now I want people who are butterfaces or have been called unattractive or average looking or whatever to understand it was never personal. You know, it's never go home and cry, question your worth because someone rejected you due to how they view you. People are biased. There's a lot of things that go on in this world, and even if you do look a certain way, that does not mean that they have to mistreat you, and I don't want you to forget it. I don't want you to ever forget. Like, if you ever have to come back to this video after a bad date, like, do it. And remember, it's not personal. You know, you could date in your league, and people will still disrespect you. You could date out your league, and people still disrespect you. You know, the point is the person is disrespectful. Now the question is, would you take it or would you not take it? And as a butterface navigating dating spaces, I had to really start strengthening my mind and thinking that it is more work to think of your flaws and how it is your fault for another person's actions than to just realize they have their own biases that they're entitled to, and you're entitled to not care. You know? Start making it a habit. They have their own stuff they're entitled to, and you're entitled to not care as well. And I think the problem with a lot of us is that we make people more important than they actually are. We make minute people last hours. People who are worth hours in their life last days, and people who are worth days last months, and people who are worth only months last years. And you need to start compartmentalizing the people in your life. And when you compartmentalize people, the top 3 spots should be you, yourself, and you. Not your mom, not your dad, not... Some of you could include your kids. If you have kids, you can. They would be spot number 4. Because how are you supposed to raise kids without being healthy? Another story. Let me not get off topic. But it should be about you and understanding that what is about them is about them. You know, you're Butterface, so what? Does that mean you're only worth pumping and dumping? According to who? Ask those people. According to who? What standard are you holding me by? What is your ideal of a non-pump and dump? And if that's the case, how come you're not attracting her? Because it's always people, like, I know it's dating, I'm going to say this again, dating as a Butterface, it's always dudes who are just like, I'm keeping you as a placeholder until something better comes along. Well, how come better's not here? You know, if you really are determined that you could attract better, how come better isn't here? And have you considered that better may not consider you? Are you better's type as well? Are you better's type? And if you are her type, how come she's not with you? How come you have to settle or feel like you're settling for me? And when you start really adding more logic, like, take your emotions out of it. Don't see it as like, oh, that means I'm ugly and I deserve the worst and I'm gonna die alone. No, that just means, oh, you feel that way? Then how come, like, just logically ask them, oh, you feel that way about me. Okay, I understand you're entitled to your opinion, but how come better isn't here? You know, how come the person you want is not the one you're dating? Why are you in my face? And when you realize it's not personal and, like, it's just people trying to make dumb decisions and you stand up for yourself and not make people experiment on your life, things will get a lot better. So I just want to make this short and brief, but thank you for listening to me ramble on about being a Butterface. This is not a space where I want people to feel sorry for themselves as well. Like, there are times to cry for yourself, but after a while, how much you're going to cry? Are you going to change yourself? If you're not, then don't cry. And if you can't change yourself, then why cry? So yeah, thank you for listening and stay rambling, guys. Love y'all.